All right, this podcast episode has me a little bit nervous because I think it's going to push some of you away. But the reason I'm okay doing this is because it's speaking the truth to what I see, the patterns that have been repeating themselves. And I have shared this in live context before, but that means it's out there and then it disappears. I'm going to share it here because what I have learned over the decades of being in the world of emotions is that I have learned to speak my truth. I have learned to speak to what I can see that you might not be able to see. And that can be hard to handle, the truth. And that can trigger some of you. But I want you to know that a trigger can be turned into an activation. An activation is where you get curious enough to, well, what if I explored this? Why is this triggering me? And am I willing to work on that deeper level? Because over the years, I have had it confirmed to me that when I speak my truth, it's better for me, but it's also better for that other person. And what I do is I hold the gap of no expectation, but when they come around to it, they'll come around to it. So having been in this work for so long, I've had that confirmed to me that sometimes it is months or years, I say 2, 5, 10 years, and now more than 10 years later, that people will come back to me and say, Jen, you shared this with me. It really stuck with me. At the time, it triggered me. I wasn't ready. I had to walk my own journey, but now I get what you were talking about. And so could they have not waited for so long? Perhaps. Could they have shortened the timeline to come to that realization? I definitely feel that they would have been able to if they were willing to dive into the world of their emotions earlier. But I have seen how many of you out there will hesitate, and I just wait patiently for when this work, someone's interview speaks to you deeply enough that you know that it is time to move. Okay, so I do get the odd piece of feedback from people live in the chat when I'm presenting this or in an email afterwards, giving me feedback. And sometimes that feedback lets me really know where you're at on your journey, and I keep my doors open. I will keep sharing, okay? And other times your feedback is really valuable and it might trigger me initially, and then it will activate me and I get curious and then I might implement that feedback. But what's really important is that I don't pander to where you might be at and bring the level of what I have to share down. I know that my work speaks to a certain person because I have worked with amazing clients in groups and in one-to-one spaces that despite the feedback people are sharing in live sessions or emailing me or commenting on my social media, they see the deeper truth of what I'm here to share. Okay, so this is about when I'm presented with a question of, Jen, can you tell me the emotions that are behind my condition? So it'll usually come in the form of a text message, maybe an email, maybe a comment on my social media. And this is something that I have been sharing about more in depth in the Missing Link Masterclass, which of late I have been running live on a more regular basis. And usually if you are someone who asks me this question, I say, come to the Missing Link live and stay around for the live Q&A where I can interact with you on a deeper level because my work is deep. It is the place that most people won't go to. Okay. I could make it easier for you to enter my world for sure. But this is where I've realized I've attracted the most incredible people and they are after this level of depth that I have to offer. And I think you will just be able to hear it in my voice, my energy, and what I deliver. All right. So I love and I am all about processing your emotions. So I 100% understand why you are asking this question. And I'm not saying stop answering this question. All right. This is where I don't want to be misunderstood. So I'm going to do my best, try not to over-explain myself. I don't want you to stop and asking that question. Because for some of you, it is the entry point to realize how much deeper this goes, but don't let it scare you off. Okay. I'm not saying that you're silly for asking this question, but I want you to recognize if you have been asking this question for a long time, what are the emotions behind my condition? Now, I teach about processing your emotions. So I get you want to know what emotion is behind your condition so you can process it. And I say that the root cause is emotions, but actually, that is the very superficial layer of my work. The missing link is processing your emotions, and the key is to be able to decipher the message behind your experience. And that's what my release process does. And that's what getting support from me enables you to do. That's what I feel is unique. That's what I feel is different. Now, this is where knowing the emotion isn't going to serve you. And this is what I want you to reflect on is have you been asking this already? Because I think that by the time you come into my world, you have asked this 100 times over. But where has knowing the emotion gotten you? You have heard other people speak about it. You've read the metaphysical books. You've gone on to the internet. You've had discussions with friends. You've even searched ChatGPT. I'd usually say you've done all of that before you cross paths with me. Okay. And so if you get triggered or activated by me and you've just crossed paths with me, just ask yourself, who am I reminding you of? What experience have you had that maybe you haven't processed? Can you turn this into an activation? Would you be willing to go deeper? Okay. And this isn't about being ready for the work. It is about being attracted to it by vibration, a frequency, and a feeling, and knowing that there is more depth beyond this podcast, social media, and, a quick live event that you might come to. So you have already asked 100 times over, what is the emotion? But where has that gotten you? Because when you ask me that, and there are some conditions that I'll put on my social media, that I'll put on my podcast, but having done this work for so long, I know that everyone's experience is unique. Everyone's sort of emotion that they might be storing is a little bit nuanced. And so let that be the entry point, asking what is the emotions, and then maybe let yourself feel a little bit scared for a moment in time that is going to ask you to go deeper. Because the questions that happen in my mind when you ask this question is, well, when I give you the emotion, what the hell are you going to do with it? Okay. So, yeah, I want you to process it, but it's not about processing on the anger, the guilt, the shame, the fear. Like, let's just pull out some of the negative but normal emotions. And I talked about this on a previous podcast about the specificity of processing emotions and how it's not about processing specific emotional states. Like we don't actually process on the emotional state. It comes back to remembering, why do emotions get stored? It's because you don't know how to process them or you don't give them time or space. All right. And I really dive into this a lot deeper on the Missing Link Masterclass. So I will pop the link in the show notes and you can register for the next live one. It truly is live. I just interact with different people and different questions each time, and I have new realizations come through. Okay, so my core thing around this is that the only way to process your emotions is to process experiences and events where those emotions first got stored. Now, I was trying to explain this to my husband Gav the other day, is that when people ask me about what is the emotion, first I ask, what are you going to do with it? Process it, but how are you going to process it? Is that if it has been such a long time since you have ever even felt that emotional experience, then just knowing it on an intellectual level is just going to keep it in your mind. And this is about feeling it on a body level. Okay. So that's why sometimes just telling you the emotion behind it will land flat and keep you searching for, I need another emotion. I need another emotion. She hasn't got it. Okay. They haven't got it. The books are wrong. It's because you haven't felt it, maybe ever. And so knowing the emotion is not going to actually help you. And so when you are in a state of continually asking, what is the emotion? Like, once I get it, once I can process it in whatever way you're going to do it, then this is going to give me X result. If you are still searching, then what I'm going to tell you that you're really asking for is a level of support and someone to really be able to read you and see the parts that you're not able to see. And I know that can be scary, but it's the thing that you got to work on. And this is where I deeply trust that just sharing this pattern that I see over and over again, maybe this is what you need to hear. And if you want to know the emotions that are sitting behind your condition, is come to one of my live sessions. Let me interact with you. Let me see you on a deeper level, on video, your body, your facial expressions, your energy, because I read in location, language, behavior. That is the depth of the work. And I think in our heads, we know that vulnerability creates connection. But so many people, so many of us and people sit in, I'm still going to protect this. Okay. Because it can be very exposing when someone can see what you're not able to see. It can be triggering, but it is your choice to turn that trigger into an activation and get curious. What happens if I go deeper? So my work opens the doors for you. And I believe there is only so much you can do on your own. I have learnt that for myself. And I have found it quite challenging over the years to find the right people. But the more I lead by desire and I choose to do this work, I have seen that as I empty out my emotional cup, as I process my emotions, as I decipher the message from my experiences, even saying something like, I have found it challenging to find people to support me. When I get curious about that, I take responsibility for myself and I process and create space. The right people always show up. The people that can be honest, the people that know and can feel my energy, that I can handle the truth and be curious about it. Okay. So I also trust that if this pushes you away, that's absolutely fine. It's still going to speak to some of you. And if it does speak to you, please reach out. Let me know so that I can continue to cater these episodes to meet you where you're at. I've got hundreds of episodes on here. I have gone on a massive evolution with this work of processing your emotions. And I hope you can see that. I hope you can feel that. And some episodes you might be a little bit lost on, but stay curious. Maybe when you come back and listen to it, you'll now be at a level of being able to understand it because you've gone on your own growth and evolution pathway. And so I want to continue to speak and send my message to those who are ready to hear it on a deeper level, not in the mind, but in your body. And I love it. I see people continue to reach out to me, maybe apply to work with me, maybe book a consult with me to explore, does this feel like an energetic match for where you're at right now? Because my gosh, this work can take you deeper. It can take you higher. It is so expansive. And it all starts with processing your emotions and doing the work that most people will avoid, that stay in their head rather than go to the depths of their body. So I want to be able to interact with you on this deeper level to show you through the interaction, the emotions, because it isn't even about having to identify what the emotions are. Okay. It is about feeling them. So remember, if it has been such a long time since you have felt an emotional experience or even touched on it ever in your life, you're not going to be able to identify it. So we simply go back to the past experiences and create the safety for your body to actually be able to process, to actually be able to feel. All right. So I made it. I've recorded this podcast. I've gotten over the fear of pushing some of you away, and that is because I have so much evidence of working with people who can see past their own triggers and they can be activated to go deeper, to walk this incredible journey of processing your emotions. Because my gosh, it opens your life up to so many opportunities, manifestation on another level. But I won't take you to the manifestation piece straight away. The manifestation of the good stuff, because you're always manifesting, right? Even the challenges in your life. It all starts with processing your emotions. Let pain be the gateway to liberation. Okay, thanks for listening. Let me know if this one lands. And if you're still curious and you want to interact with me in a free environment, come to the next missing link live masterclass where, yeah, I'm going to teach you. I'm going to offer a lot of valuable insights. But stick around for the live Q&A and ask yourself, can you be vulnerable enough to let me see what others aren't able to see? Let me take you a little bit deeper than simply identifying the emotion behind your condition. And your body will speak to you. Your body will hear me, even if your mind can't comprehend. All right. Big love to all of you.